Hello everyone, welcome to Nobel Forensics. I am Soumya. So here I am explaining about the syllabus of CUET PG Forensic Science. So if you have applied for CUET PG in Forensic Science subjects, then this is the syllabus, and MSc Forensic Science in different universities which are under the CUET PG. So for that all, this is the syllabus. The question paper code also I mentioned, it is SCQP 13. SC nothing but science, QP is the question paper, and 13 is the code for Forensic Science. So SCQP 13 is the code for Forensic Science. So if you are applied for the Forensic Science subject, then you have to prepare for this syllabus. So actually the syllabus is having different topics under the Forensic Science, and the question paper will get 75 questions. 75 questions, all questions are subject specific only. It means from this syllabus only, whatever the syllabus they mentioned in this PDF of SCQP 13. So from that syllabus only they will ask the questions related to this subject. So only 75 questions are there, not 100 questions like old pattern. So 75 all are from the subject specific only. And here the questions are 75 questions are all are like mandatory, means you have to attempt all. Then each question carries 4 marks. So 75 into 4, 300 marks is the full marks of the question paper. But coming to the negative marking, there is also negative marking. So minus 1 mark will deduct for every wrong answer. So 75 questions are there. For each 4 marks are there. For correct answer you will get 4 marks, and for wrong answer you will lose 1 mark. So minus 1 negative marking is there. So I will explain in the next videos that different tips for getting qualify in the CUET PG. Getting qualify nothing but to get the good marks and good rank. So out of this 75 questions, how many questions actually you have to attempt, because you cannot attempt all 75 questions because there is also negative marking. So for example, if you attempted most of the correct answers but only few questions, if you for example you don't want to leave those questions unattempted. So if you are attempting without any knowledge about that question, then if for example the question answer is wrong, then you may lose the marks. So that is why how many questions you have to attempt and how many marks you have to get the good rank, those tips I'll explain in another video. So coming to here the syllabus, the question paper will available in both English and Hindi, both bilingual. Coming to the syllabus, Forensic Science. So first I just go with the headings of the syllabus, then I'll explain in detail about the individual topic within this syllabus. So first, introduction to the Forensic Science. So here that all the topics are from the Forensic Science only, but related to some topics there is also they added basics, like coming to the biology they added anatomy and physiology of the human, and also in the physics they added basic principles related to physics. So those are you have already studied in your intermediate level. So those topics only they just added here extra along with the Forensic Science topics. So if you have already studied Forensic Science in your BSc level or undergraduate level, then this syllabus understanding will become very easy to you. But for example, you are from the normal science background in the UG degree, then it is little difficult to understand this syllabus. But when we are going with individual topic explanation, there you can easily get understand about these all the topics, because as Forensic Science is the very interesting subject, and also you can easily understand with a good explanation. So that is why I am also starting the coaching, online coaching through my app, which is Nobel Forensics. So you have to download the Nobel Forensic app from the Play Store. So there you will get course CUET PG Forensic Science as well as CUET PG Criminology. So there I'll provide with the study material and also recorded videos. Along with that, I will also conduct the live classes every week. So every week live classes I will conduct 1-to-1 classes, and also I'll go with the previous year question papers like a question and answer discussion, and also I will provide with the practice quizzes or practice tests, and also there is doubt discussion sessions. So these all are I am already conducting for the UGC NET Forensic Science students, and also now I started for the CUET PG Forensic Science students also. So coming back to the syllabus, introduction to Forensic Science. So I am again mentioning, if you are from the BSc Forensic background, you can easily understand. But if you are non-forensic background, then just for understanding the syllabus it may become difficult. But when you are going with one by one topic, it is very easy when comparing with the other subjects. So introduction to forensic, then physical evidences related to the physical evidence, fundamental of police science, scene of crime scene management and reconstruction, Indian Penal Code IPC, and along with that also there is IEA and CRPC, then fingerprints, documents and other impressions, forensic biology and serology. Next, chemical separation, which includes forensic chemistry and instrumental techniques. Next, forensic medicine, forensic toxicology and drug analysis, general chemistry, then basic physics. So these all are the syllabus topics within the forensic science. So I am just going with the in detail one by one topic. So in the introduction to forensic science, so what is the definition of forensic science? So simplest definition of the forensic science is application of science to the law. Application of the science to the law. But here the questions will arise like the word forensic is taken from which language, who is the father of forensic science, who is the father of forensic science in India. So these kind of questions will arise. And also coming to the definition, it is not just about the forensic science definition, it is also about other branches within the forensic science. So those definitions also comes under that word. For example, forensic botany. So we all know botany is studying about the plants. Here forensic botany is if we are using the principles and knowledge of botany for crime investigation for forensic purpose, then that is the forensic botany. As the same way forensic chemistry. So these all definitions also comes under this definition part. So that is for definition. And also history. In the history you will learn about different branches of forensic science and also different scientists involved in the forensic science and also how the forensic was developed. So this is included in the history. So that is only again they mentioned development and scope of forensic science in India. So how the forensic was developed from the olden days. See, now we are using different methods for forensic science investigation, different evidence knowledge we are using for investigation. But in the olden days we haven't used these all. So we used but these not these all. So how actually forensic science was developed in the India and also what is the importance or scope of forensic science. So actually I will explain. If you observe my videos, so I just explained it like along with the history when we are discussing about different branches of forensic science, there only I will explain about the scope. For example, forensic botany as I said. So when we are going with the introduction part definition of the forensic botany, there only I will explain about the scope. Means within the forensic botany we discuss about plant based evidences, stem, seeds, leaves, flowers, pollen grains. So based on that, while explaining about those topics only I will explain about the scope also, importance of that pollen grains, importance of leaf evidence, importance of flower evidence. So that is what includes in the scope of forensic science in India. Then basic principles of forensic science and its significance. So if you observed my YouTube channel, there is already I uploaded very long ago that principles of forensic science. Even though how much long ago also the principles won't change. So the same principles are there which are fundamental principles of forensic science. We use the same principles for all evidence application in the forensic science. So while we are doing investigation we use that all the principles. For example, the main principle or the main fundamental principle of forensic science is Locard's exchange principle. So I just explain little bit about it. So every contact leaves traces. So that is what meaning of the Locard's exchange principle. When we are touching any object in the crime scene or whatever, see for example now I am touching my mobile phone. So it means there is I am leaving my fingerprint on that surface and also I am collecting some amount of the dust from that surface. That is what the law of Locard's exchange principle is saying. So every contact leaves a trace. As the same way we will discuss about all the principles in this topic. Next, and also its significance. It's a significance principle. What is the principle and its importance or significance? Next, organization and functioning of state and central forensic science laboratories. So different CFSLs, central forensic laboratories, state forensic laboratories and other laboratories, regional forensic laboratories, private forensic laboratories, that all includes in that topic. Next, ethics in forensic science. So experts and forensic persons, they should maintain the ethics within the forensic science. So here we will discuss about ethics related to it. Then come into physical evidences. So first topic, it is all about the just introduction part related to forensic science. Then physical evidence. So in that, what is actually the physical evidence? The definition of the physical evidence. The simplest definition of the physical evidence is that whatever the material, it should have some physical properties or physical dimensions. That is what physical evidence. So physical property or dimension, nothing but it should have some length or width or breadth or thickness. So that is what physical dimensions. If any material, if it is having that physical dimensions, then that is comes under physical evidence. A pen, blood stain, semen stain, paper evidence, wood, leaves. So these all are comes under physical evidences. And so for the investigation or for the forensic purpose, we divide them into we divide their characteristics, physical evidence characteristics, into class and individual characteristics. So first we divide them into class characteristics, next into individual characteristics, and also we will discuss about different types of physical evidences. So for easy understanding, there is different types under the physical evidence, and also in the crime scene, how to search the physical evidence, different searching methods for locating physical evidences at the scene of crime. So at the scene of crime, we may not directly go and, for example, there is 10 evidences are there, we may not directly pick up randomly the evidences. We may follow different searching methods. So with using that methods, we go with the searching of physical evidences at the crime scene, and whatever the methods or whatever the steps we are taking at crime scene processing, we do a format, we maintain a format, like the investigator 1 was entered into the crime scene, he did those work, that work, he handed over that evidence to another person. Like this, all the events we will maintain in a chain of custody form. That is what this chain of custody events which are doing at the crime scene, and also in the crime investigation. So I hope in my YouTube channel there is a big video about the entire crime scene management processing. There you will get searching methods also. Next, coming to fundamental of police. So actually police system, how it was developed, it includes in the historical development of police system in India. So historical development of police system in India, police in Indian constitution, objective of police, general organization of police at state and range level. Next, police organization under central government, and also that what are the central government, under the central government who are the police departments, their general information, structure and function. So they just divided police into two parts. Like first one is BSF. So BSF, Assam Rifles, CRPF, CISF, ITBP, NSG, and also second part which includes BPRND, CBI, IB, RA, RAW, NCRB, National Crime Records Bureau, NICFS, NPA, National Police Academy, UT Police Force, so Union Territory Police Force. So these all includes in the fundamental of police. Next, police science. So definition of police science, its scope, and who is an investigator. So every time when we are going with the investigation, IO, investigating officer, will involve. Then who is an investigator means what is the definition of it, what are the qualities of him, what is the experience of him. So that all includes in this. Who is an investigator, and his qualities, general guidelines for investigator, interview of witness and interrogation of suspect. This is also included in the police science. Then scene of crime. So in the last physical evidences we discussed about especially physical evidence, and here it is scene of crime. So scene of crime meaning, types, protection of scene of crime, crime scene documentation. In the documentation of crime scene we may go with the 4 methods: note making, videography, photography and sketching. So these includes in the documentation. Next, importance of that documentation, importance of photography, general guidelines, admissibility in the courtroom, various forms such as videography. Within the photography, different videography. These all includes in the scene of crime, and also continuation, crime scene management and reconstruction. So in my channel there is crime scene management, a big video is there. It includes all the topics: scene of crime, crime scene management, and also physical evidence. So crime scene management and reconstruction, elements of crime scene management, information management, technology management, manpower management and logistic management. So within the crime scene we use these 4. So information we use, technology we use, manpower we use, and logistics we use. So these all includes in that elements of crime scene management. Next, introduction to crime scene reconstruction. So after doing crime scene processing, we go with the crime scene reconstruction. Based on the all evidences present at the crime scene, we will do reconstruction of the crime scene. So we do reconstruction of the crime scene, crime events. So nature of reconstruction, basic principles for physical evidence in reconstruction. So in the reconstruction, it includes different steps like recognition, identification, individualization, and reconstruction. So these are the steps, stages in reconstruction. Then types of reconstruction, like pattern evidence in reconstruction, based on the blood stain pattern analysis, we can go with the different kind of reconstruction. And based on the glass fracture pattern analysis, so we can identify through which window they entered, which is the exit side, which is the entry side. And also based on the fire burn patterns, like in case of gunshot injury, based on the fire burn, and also in case of arson cases also we can go with the fire burn patterns. Then tire and skid marks pattern. So individually we are taking these different patterns for reconstruction of the crime, and also writing a reconstruction report, how to write a reconstruction report. Then coming to IPC, Indian Penal Code. So actually IPC, CRPC and IE are changed with the different names and different different sections, but it was not applied to the academics. Still it was not applied to the academics, so we are going with the old IPC, CRPC and IEA only. So for this exam you have to prepare that old legal system only. So IPC, CRPC and IEA, then especially about the Indian Penal Code 1860, different crimes they just added. So pertaining to, legal sections pertaining to offences and persons, like section 120, 299, 300, 302. So 299, 300, 302, these from the 200 it is related to murder and murder related crimes up to the 309. Next coming to 319 to 326, it is, these four sections are related to hurt and grievous hurt. So 319, 320, 319 is the hurt, 320 is the grievous hurt, and related crimes within that includes 324 and 326. As the same way, these all are the different sections. Yes, 375 and 377. 375 IPC related to rape, and 375 IPC, it defines the rape, only definition of the rape. Then 377, it is related to rape related, sexual assault related crimes. Then other crimes, so against property, the sections against property, which includes these all. Next, even they added IEA, Indian Evidences Act 1872, different sections. Then coming to after that law part, fingerprints, documentation and other impressions. So here fingerprints and that all the information related to fingerprint, history, types of fingerprints, types of fingerprint patterns, different classification system, location and preservation of fingerprints. Up to here classification. So it is about the introduction part only. So what is the fingerprint, and also what are the different types of fingerprint these humans are having, then how many patterns are there. Next, systems location and preservation of fingerprints, development of latent prints. So at the crime scene we may get visible fingerprint or semi-visible fingerprint or invisible fingerprint. So in which type of fingerprint we have to follow different procedure. So it includes in this. So in case of latent fingerprint, we have to develop it. So by physical and chemical methods, we have to develop it. Then after collecting that fingerprints from the crime scene, we have to match them with the suspects. Means we have to compare them with the suspects, victims' fingerprint, and we have to match them. So simply development of latent fingerprints. So many students, while I am teaching offline or online, many students they will ask how to identify the latent or invisible fingerprint. Means it is anyway invisible to the eye, then the investigator, how he can identify that invisible fingerprint at the crime scene. See, for example, so here it is the water bottle. So usually everyone will handle it like this. So definitely they will leave fingerprints on this bottle. So everyone will leave fingerprints on this bottle. So for example, this bottle is present at the crime scene, then we have to handle it like this, because though there is no visible fingerprints, we know that there is some fingerprints. So those are invisible fingerprints. So we don't know whether there is really fingerprints are present or no, but we have to develop with using some chemical or physical method. So after developing, if there is fingerprints, then we can use them. So everyone will use, in case of theft, burglary case, they will open the beerwa locks, they will open the door locks with using hands only. So if they are not wearing the gloves, then definitely they will leave the fingerprints on particular places. So investigator will focus on those particular places for identifying the invisible fingerprints. So you will get that all the information in the fingerprints. Next, coming to documents. So question to documents. In case of question document, we will get the suicide notes, blackmail notes, or bank checks, forgery documents, property related documents, which includes forgery, and also counterfeited currency, counterfeited these credit and debit cards, counterfeited passports. So these all we get in documents topic. So I just read it. Definition of question document, types of documents, types of writing instruments, their characteristics and examination, paper and its examination, basic tools related to forensic document examination, which includes basic tools or instruments we use for the document examination, which includes ultraviolet light, visible light, IR or infrared light, fluorescence spectroscopy, photomicrography and microphotography, visible spectral comparator or VSC. Then electrostatic detection apparatus, ESDA. So these are the instruments we use for the document examination. Next, handwriting. So within the documents only, first we may focus on the document paper or ink they used. Then here also we are going with the handwriting in case of suicide note, in case of property will document, in case of what not counterfeited currency, there we may not get handwriting. So in case of forgery, we may go with that handwriting examination. Handwriting and its characteristics, factors which are affecting the handwriting, samples for comparison, how to collect them, so and from where we have to collect them, comparison of handwritings, disguised and indented writings and their detection. So disguised nothing but this one, disguised nothing but, see, if I am usually I write my handwriting in the normal way, but if I want to change my handwriting into new way, like I am writing some blackmailing letter, so I just want to hide my own handwriting characteristics, so I am just implementing new way of handwriting. Either I am using my another hand for writing, or I may using that different way of writing, or I may use in the whatever the writing, I may write in different language or different capital letters or small letters, so that in that case I am just hiding my own way of handwriting characteristics and I am implementing new handwriting characteristics. That is what disguised writing. And indented writings and their detection, typed and computer generated documents, their comparison, alteration in documents, so they may change little part of the document. For example, in the bank check, I am giving you just 1,000 rupees check, but what you did, you added one more zero in the document, and in the written written denomination or written matter also, I just wrote it like 1,000 rupees, but what you changed, you just changed that ONE 1 into TEN, 10,000 rupees. So that is what alteration in the document. In that case, how to detect it. So in the last passage we discussed about the different instruments. So with using different instruments we can identify that alteration in the document. And also, so up to here it is the handwriting, and also there is impressions part is there. Impressions are prints, so footprints, shoe prints, and a method of their preservation. So if we get any shoe print or footprint at the crime scene, how to preserve it, and also how to do examination of it. Then tire marks and track marks and their examination, same way like foot and shoe print, how to collect the tire mark, track marks, and how to preserve it, how to do examination. So this is all about fingerprints, documents and other impressions. So after this topic there is forensic biology and serology is there. So in the biology and serology they added the basic anatomy and physiology of the human also. So which includes this brief description and function of human digestive system, respiratory system, circulatory system, nervous system, reproductive system. So only this part is the general biology, then remaining parts are comes under forensic biology and serology only. So after that, systems of the body, which includes digestive, respiratory, circulatory, nervous and reproductive system. Then going with the structure and composition and examination of different biological fluids. So biological fluids nothing but body fluids, which includes blood, semen, saliva, urine, pus, vomiting, fecal matter. So here they added few biological fluids and their examination you have to learn for this exam. Then hair and fiber. So hair anatomy, what are the different parts present in the hair? So hair is especially having three parts. What are those? Cuticle, cortex and medulla, which includes in the hair anatomy. Then how to collect the hair evidence from the crime scene? If we are getting any hair evidence at the crime scene, how to collect it, how to do the examination of hair. So in the examination part, we have to identify whether it is hair or no. For example, it is looking like a black color, then first we have to examine whether it is hair or whether it is any black color thread. So if it is hair, then we have to identify whether it is animal hair or human hair. So we have to identify animal and human hair. So for that you have to learn about animal and human hair features, and also this one type of fiber. In case of fiber, so it is also include hair and fiber. So for example, that thread, that black color material is not the hair. If it is maybe thread, then we have to also go with the fiber examination. So type of fiber and their properties, examination of fiber. Then forensic botany. So forensic botany introduction, nature and scope. So in the starting topic I just explained about the botany, which includes different evidences like wood, leaves, flowers, pollen grains. So that is only here introduction, nature and scope of the forensic botany. Woods and their identification and matching. So in case of any crime scene, if you are getting any wood material, for example the murder has happened, in that murder they used a stick for beating the victim. So because of that beating with the wood stick, the person was dead. So in that case we may get that wood chips onto the head of the victim. So for example, the criminal, he ran away with that stick, even though we will get that traces of wood on the head of the wherever there is injury, there we get that small pieces of the wood. So there we have to collect that wood pieces and we have to identify what type of wood it is belongs to which plant. Then after identifying that, when we are going with the suspect's location, suspect home, if for example we are getting any stick there, then we have to match both. So that is includes in the identification and matching. Then diatoms and their forensic significance in drowning cases. So especially in case of drowning nothing but the death was happened because of submerging into the water. For example, a person was submerged or fell into the water, then death will happen because of that water entering into the respiratory tract. So in that case the person will die. The process is called drowning. So in case of drowning, we may focus on the diatoms. So its main importance in the drowning cases and how it will help in the drowning cases. And what information we will get, you will learn in this diatom topic. And also study and identification of pollen grains. Next continuation within this forensic biology and serology, especially we go with the DNA for individual identification. So if the hair root is present, so we have to identify hair belongs to whom based on the DNA. And also if you are getting any biological fluid, then we have to identify that blood is belongs to whom based on the DNA. So that is why we are going with the DNA also. So structure of the DNA, polymorphism in DNA, general idea about RFLP and PCR. So they just mentioned general idea about RFLP and PCR, not in detail. Anyway, you have to learn that almost all information related to RFLP, PCR methods, which are especially main methods within the DNA fingerprinting or DNA typing. So RFLP, PCR method of biological fluid analysis, merits and demerits of RFLP and PCR. So advanced methods for forensic DNA examination, etc. So here merits and demerits, advantages and disadvantages of RFLP and PCR. So in the DNA fingerprinting or DNA typing, either we go with the RFLP or PCR. In case of we are getting more amount of the biological material, like if we are getting pool of blood, then we will get more amount of the DNA, so we go with the RFLP. But for example, we are getting only one drop of the blood at the crime scene, then we are going with the PCR, because of there we will get only little amount of the DNA. So when there is availability of the DNA more or biological sample more, we go with the RFLP method for DNA fingerprinting. If we are getting only little amount of the biological material, little amount of the DNA, we go with the PCR method. So that one. Next, so after biology and serology, chemical separation and instrumental techniques. So general understanding of these extraction processes. Extraction process nothing but, see, for example, the death was happened because of some poison effect. So in the postmortem examination, the medical experts, they said the death was happened because of some poison effect. So no, not medical experts. So for example, the family members, they said the person has taken some poison, or the poison bottle was present in that victim's room. So in that case, we have to collect the vomiting from the person, or we have to collect that stomach content. So there, when we are collecting the stomach content, we may not directly identify that poison present in that. So there we have to extract that poison from the vomiting, or we have to extract that poison from the food material which is collected from the stomach. So that extraction processes are different for different poisons, different drugs, different chemicals. So those extractions includes distillation, sublimation, crystallization, and solvent extraction. So these are the methods. So for that you have to go with the general understanding of these processes. So these all includes that extraction only. So what is the difference between these different processes, you have to understand. Next, to chromatographic techniques. So different chromatography technique. Here you have to go with the basics of chromatography technique only. Anyway, you must have knowledge from the intermediate and even in the UG also. Whatever the science subjects you are having in UG, you may have chromatography techniques knowledge. So definition, different classification like according to mode, principle, stationary phase, etc. Brief idea about column chromatography, paper chromatography, TLC, GLC, liquid chromatography, hyphenated chromatographic techniques. Like so hyphenated nothing but, so I'll just give one little example. So you know gas chromatography and you know mass spectrometry. So gas chromatography we use for separation of the components. Then mass spectroscopy we use for identification of the components. For example, these two instruments we are combining, that gas chromatography and mass spectroscopy. Then what we can do? Continuously we can separate the components, and at a time we can also identify them. So if we are adding two instrumental methods together, we can call it as hyphenated technique. So that is why it is hyphenated chromatography techniques as LCMS, GCMS, etc. So for about this information also you have to prepare for this exam. Next, electromagnetic spectrum and spectroscopic methods. Principle, apparatus, procedure, and importance, which includes, there is different electromagnetic spectrum and spectroscopic methods are there. So about that all methods, whatever they mentioned, like emission spectroscopy, AAS, atomic absorption spectroscopy, UV, and also electron spectroscopy, Raman spectroscopy, IR and FTIR spectroscopy. About these all methods you have to learn about the principle of them, apparatus, procedure, and importance. Importance nothing but here the general importance as well as forensic importance. So with using this, whatever the forensic importance. See, IR and FTIR spectroscopy. See, for example, I just go with the FTIR, that is the main instrument in the forensic analysis. See, in the last case I said there is a poison case, so we are extracting that poison with using different extraction methods. So here we have to identify that particular poison. For that we go with the FTIR method. In the FTIR method we can get a fingerprint region which is unique for every component. So in the FTIR, see for example, based on the whatever the extracted poison we are adding to the FTIR instrument, and we are getting that fingerprint regions or peaks at a different wavelength in the electromagnetic spectrum. So based on that peaks we can identify the type of poison. Yes, we can identify the type of poison exactly. So like that you have to go with the different importance or scope of forensic scope related to these instrumental methods. Then general idea about NAA, neutron activation analysis. So within the instrumental methods, NAA and also mass spectrometry. So mass spectrometry, anyway I said in the last heading that mass spectroscopy or mass spectrometry we use for identification of the separated components or identification of the components based on the M/Z ratio, M/Z ratio or mass to charge ratio. So that is the main thing related to mass spectrometry. If they will ask a question also related to this. So based on what we are going to identify a component with using mass spectrometry, based on mass to charge ratio or based on M/Z ratio. Next, so neutron activation analysis, we use it for elemental analysis. So what are the elements present in particular component, we are going with the neutron activation analysis or NAA. For example, in the hair we get 21 elements, or we get different number of elements. So for identification of that elemental analysis, we go with the neutron activation analysis. Like that, you have to learn about forensic related importance from different instruments. Then electrophoresis, anyway it is also same like chromatography, we use it for separation of the components, but especially in the electrophoresis we use charge for the separation. So whatever the components, if they are having negative charge or positive charge, some electric charge, we use electrophoresis for separating them. So electrophoresis, its principle, types, equipment and processing, especially immune electrophoresis and analysis of proteins by electrophoresis and their detection. So in the electrophoresis, we mainly separate the components based on the charge and based on the size of the component. So for example, if we are adding proteins into the electrophoretic chamber, then it will separate based on the charge and also based on the size of the protein molecule. Then after going with that, forensic medicine. So forensic medicine, meaning or definition and scope, importance, then identification of a person. So here you may learn that in the medicine we may not only going with the post-mortem examination. So there is different importance for the forensic medicine, so which mainly about the identification of a person, through all factors in fixing identity. So all the factors usually based on the, for example, if we are getting only few bones or skeleton system, from the skeleton system also we can identify the identification features of the person, like we can identify gender of the person from the bones, skeleton, we can identify race of the person, we can identify height of the person, we can identify age of the person also. So these all includes in the identification. Then post-mortem examination or autopsy, and the types of different autopsy, objectives of autopsy and autopsy procedure. Then meaning and mode of death. So what is the meaning of death? So death means it is stopping different processes of the body. So respiration is important. Like that, different processes, if respiration, circulation, if they stopped in the body, then that is the common meaning of the death. As the same way, there is different meanings of the death and also different modes of the death and their characteristics. Then signs of death. Sign of death and post-mortem changes. So post-mortem changes, it is having 13 changes, post-mortem changes, from the initial changes to the last changes. So there is different post-mortem changes are there, you have to learn in detail about them. Then wounds and their characteristics, different types of wounds are there. Then injuries due to heat, lightning, electricity and radiation, firearm injuries within the wounds, these all are the different topics, firearm injuries. Then differentiation between the antemortem and post-mortem wound. See, for example, the person was alive, so on the living person, if there is any injury was happened, then how we can identify as the person was living during the injury. And also, for example, the injury was present or injury was happened on the dead body, then how to identify that post-mortem wound or post-mortem injury. So it is includes in this topic. Next, forensic toxicology and drug analysis. So after this forensic medicine, forensic toxicology and also drug analysis. Next, here poison and types of poisoning. Different types of poisoning are there. So in that there is natural poisons are there, like plant based poison, animal based poison, and also chemical poisonings also there. In the chemical, again metallic poisons are there. So poison, types of poisoning and action of poison. So here the poison definition also important. Actually, what is the poison? Everything is the poison. If we are taking in the more quantity or if we are taking in the abnormal quantity, that material will become poison. For example, water. If I am drinking more amount of the water continuously, then water will show some poisonous effect on me. So as the same way, whatever the material, if we are taking in the normal quantity, it is specific to that particular material, if you are taking in the normal quantity, it may not show any poisonous effect on the body. But if you are taking more amount, or if you are taking abnormal amount, that will show the poisonous effect on the body. For example, just I am giving example about the sleeping pills. For example, if you are taking one sleeping pill, one sleeping pill means whatever that normal quantity of the sleeping pill, we may get the sleep. But if you are taking more amount of the sleeping pills, then it will show the poisonous effect on the body. As the same way, every material is poisonous if you are taking in the abnormal quantity. And different types of poisons. Why I am explaining in detail is there is also important thing, definition of the poison. Then action of poison, factors modifying the action of poison. So factors modifying the action of poison, for that I just give little example. For example, with empty stomach, if you are taking any drug or any poison, then it will show more effect on the body. For example, we had a stomach full of food, either rice, chapati, whatever the food, if you are having stomach full, and then if you are consuming any drug or any poison, then it will show slow effect on the body. That is what here one factor modifying the action of poison. Not just that is one factor, there is different factors. Then here extraction. So we already discussed the different extraction methods. So extraction, isolation and cleanup procedures for poisons. For non-volatile organic poison, volatile poison, toxic cations or metallic poisons, toxic anions from viscera, drugs, botanical evidence, biological evidence, etc. So as I said, there is plant poisons are there. Then how to extract that poisons from botanical evidence. Then general idea and examination of opium. So general idea and examination of these all are the components. So about this you have to go with the general information. So opium, semi-synthetic opiates, cannabis product such as in the cannabis plant, or we usually mention it kaskas or gasgasalu. So cannabis, in the cannabis different drugs will come from the cannabis. Drug nothing but here any material which will either cure the disease. So which will cure the disease, that is the drug again here. So if it is showing some effect on the body, then that is the drug. Where it is actually here. So in the cannabis we will get different drugs like bhang, ganja and charas, LSD and amphetamine, important benzodiazepines, next phenothiazines, barbiturates, etc. And also animal poisons like snake venom, cantharides, bees, wasp. So these all are comes under different types of poisons within the toxicology and drug analysis. Next come into general chemistry and next general physics or basic physics. So general chemistry, photochemistry, organic chemistry, inorganic chemistry. I just read it. It is not entirely related to forensic. It is about the basic chemistry and basic physics. So you must learn it in the intermediate or degree level also. So photochemistry, interaction of radiation with matter, difference between thermal and photochemical process, laws of photochemistry, Grothus-Draper law, Stark-Einstein law, Jablonski diagram, description of fluorescence, phosphorescence, non-radiative processes, quantum yield, photosensitized reactions, energy transfer processes, etc. Next, organic chemistry includes structure and bonding, hybridization, bond length and bond angles, bond energy, localized and delocalized chemical bond structure and characteristic of alkane, alkene and cycloalkane, alcohol, phenol, ethers, aldehyde, ketone, carboxylic acid, etc. Next, inorganic chemistry, which includes trends in periodic table and application in predicting and explaining the physical and chemical behaviors, definition of acid and base. So this comes under the forensic topic actually. Forensic topic means in the forensic chemistry also you will learn about this definition of acid and base, classification of acids and bases, essential and trace elements in biological process, metalloporphyrins with special reference to hemoglobin. Means in the biology, whenever you are going with a different biological material or in the poison or in the drug analysis, whenever you are extracting from the viscera or body fluids or body material, then here you have to learn about these things also. Metalloporphyrins with a special reference to hemoglobin, types of magnetic behaviors, method of determining magnetic susceptibility, spin only formula, LS coupling. So this is all about the chemistry, general chemistry, which includes photochemistry, organic chemistry and inorganic chemistry. Next, basic physics. So physical properties, which includes temperature, weight, mass, density, refractive index, diffraction, polarization. So we use these basic physics principles in case of forensic analysis of different evidences. So in case of physical evidences, like in case of soil, we go with the density analysis. In case of glass also, we go with the density and refractive index analysis. And also in case of some other evidences, we go with the polarization also. Then laws of motion in a uniform field, centripetal acceleration, motion under a central force. Then basic optics, which includes light as an electromagnetic wave, interference of light, principle of superposition, two-slit interference. What is this? Michelson, you can see the spelling. So Michelson interferometer and its application. Then microscopy. So in the microscopy, you will learn about numerical aperture and a resolving power of microscopic system, how the microscope forms images. Then simple, compound, stereoscopic, polarizing, these are the different types of microscopes. So first you have to learn about the basic information related to microscopy. This is anyway forensic topic only. Here you will learn about the general information related to microscopy, but it is having major application in the forensic science for trace evidences. So here different types of microscopes, simple microscope, compound microscope, stereoscopic microscope, polarizing microscope, comparison microscope, fluorescence and electron microscopes. So in the electron microscope, you will learn about SEM and TEM, scanning electron microscope and transition electron microscope. So these all are the under microscope under basic physics. So I am just going there. There is 75 questions in the question paper, all from the forensic science. So for looking at this syllabus, it may look like the large syllabus, but if you are preparing by one topic, it will become easy. If you are already from the forensic background, then you can easily learn because you already know the basics. So here you are just doing the revision. You are just doing revision for CUET PG exam. Anyway, after qualifying the CUET PG in forensic science, whenever you are opting for MSc forensic science, there also you are learning about these topics only. So these means especially about these introduction to forensic science, forensic physics, forensic ballistics, forensic question document, forensic chemistry, forensic toxicology, so forensic biology, forensic serology. You are learning about these topics only in the MSc level also. So I am just going with the basic topics again. So forensic science introduction, then legal sections are law, crime scene and its management and physical evidences, fingerprints, documents, biology, serology, chemistry, toxicology, forensic medicine, general chemistry and basic physics. So these all are the topics. So if you want to prepare very seriously for this forensic science syllabus, then you can also download the Nobel Forensic app from the Play Store and you can purchase my course. I'm just going with the little amount of the payment only there, so you can purchase it and you can prepare very well. So I am assuring that with my coaching you will definitely get good rank in the CUET PG, and you will definitely get good along with the good rank you will definitely get the seat in best university which is offering forensic science, which is under the CUET PG list. So for that you have to download the Nobel Forensics, and for free material also, within the Nobel Forensic app, there I also will provide the free material, free study material and few free videos also in the CUET PG Forensic Science course in the application of Nobel Forensics, and in the YouTube channel also you can get different explanation videos. So I hope you learnt in the good way about this syllabus, whatever I explained with my explanation. I hope you learnt many things related to this forensic science, and even though if you are having any doubts within the syllabus, you can ask me in the chat box. And thank you very much for listening it patiently. Happy learning.